Hi all, today on Parker's Reefs we're going to go over the eagerly awaited ICP Battle Royale. Okay, so a little while ago you may remember I created a video way back here called the Reef Aquarium ICP Battle Royale Part 1. It actually didn't get as many views as you can see, there's 634 as I was expecting, but I guess it was the precursor for the results that everyone's waiting for. In Australia now, we now have access to 4 different ICP companies. Probably technically more than that, but 4 that are dedicated to the aquarium industry. And the question's always been which is best, which is more accurate, which is best advantages, disadvantages, etc., etc. So I got to the point where I figured I'll just buy one of each and take the same sample of water, send them off and see what we get. So I want to start off by saying, unfortunately, not all 4 came back. 1 out of my 4, my MarinLab test kit, did appear to get lost in the mail, which is a massive shame because it would have been really good to compare all 4. But just like aquaforists always do, they always step up to the plate. And when speaking to them, they came to the party. They were apologetic, even though it clearly wasn't their fault. I mean, you can't held to account for something that never makes it into your hands. But they were quick to give me another code and say, please send another water sample, which I absolutely will do. I will send that sample off. The only problem is it's going to be a different sample from the other 3 we've done, so I won't be able to compare apples with apples, but I will get a review in of the MarinLab ICP, just so that we get a good coverage of all 4. So that does leave us with 3 companies. We've got Triton, the original, or the sort of the industry benchmark in Australia. We have ATI, and the new player on the Australian market, Quantum. So let's jump into it and compare these 3 and see what we got. So I guess we'll start off by showing sort of the overview you get. This is the Triton one. It gives you a list of the element, what the analysis is, the set point, what the deviation is, and this little sort of warning lamp to show you whereabouts on that spectrum you are. You also get some help, dosing instructions for if you're using their elements, and then a visual you can compare your test results over time. The, where are we? ATI, pretty similar sort of format, if anything maybe a little bit more basic, but I mean, it still tells you the results, that's the important thing. Giving you the tick and the down arrow, up arrow. Is there any, this one saying that it's significantly high. And then Quantum, you get a PDF, this nice sort of opening screen, and then it follows a similar sort of path. I might see if I can get that to zoom out a little bit. Where you get your element, what the result is, whether that's a tick across or a slight warning. Then down the bottom of that, we do also get some instructions on for the things that came up as high or low or warnings, what they recommend to change. You also get RODI results here, but we'll cover that in a second. So let's jump into my highly technical spreadsheet here and go over how I've compared these items. So I've tried to, obviously I've only got 3 columns because the MarinLab test didn't come in, so we can only compare these 3, but let's forge ahead and do that anyway. So I've got ATI, Triton, Quantum, and I've broken it down into a few worksheets down the bottom here. So we've got a miscellaneous tab, a RODI tab, the all-important saltwater tab, and then we'll compare the scores there at the end. Now, I say compare scores. I'm opening myself up to a bit of flack here because I'm going to score this as I go, and I will say right up front at the start, this is completely, it's completely based on my opinion. I'll put that the results are all up on screen. You can make your own opinion. I'm only going to put what I think looks sort of out of range from the others, or something that I would score high or lower, or just give a warning for. Make your own opinion. If you want to, you can get angry with my opinion, that's fine, but it sort of seems pointless. Instead of getting angry with my opinion, make your own opinion, and we'll all move on and sleep easy at night. So I guess that's probably enough of a disclaimer. Let's roll on. So the first thing I've got here is the price to buy. and the ATI test was 60, although I now see in Australia Darren at Reef Secrets is selling these for 55. The Triton test kit I got for 60, although I have seen these as high as 65. And I've given that an orange label, as in I'm not taking points off for that, but it is the most expensive. Thankfully, it's not by a lot, but it's close to losing a point for that. And then the Quantum one is the cheapest. It was very close to giving that an extra point, but it's at the end of the day $50, 55, 60. We're not talking a lot of difference. Plus, on the next row down, I didn't take a point off. I figured if I was going to give them a point for being $5 cheaper there, I should probably take a point off for being $5 dearer to post. However, I should go back to the price to post row. I was a little bit lucky here. I happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm at my local post office when they were getting attacked by a pretty crazy individual, and I helped them out by keeping them safe and also being there for the police report. So they, ironically, when I took in the MarinLab and the ATI test samples, well, I took all four in the post. The two local ones were express in the small envelope, and they cost me $11.55 each. And I had heard people say that the MarinLab or ATI ones have cost them up to almost $30 to post. And when I took them to the counter, my local postman there said that they look more like letters than parcels to him, and therefore they're only $7.50. So that's possibly not a fair result, but I can't make up a price. That was what I paid to post it. So I paid to post a $7.50 thing to Germany. I've given these a orange label. I haven't taken points off because that's unfair, but it is something you need to factor in when you're posting these off. So I guess in the end, if I was to do the ATI again, it's going to cost me $62.50. It's going to cost me $61.55 and $71.55 and $61.55. So they're all within a few bucks of each other. No big deal. All right, this next row is one that people do often care a bit about. It doesn't bother me so much. I've waited 4 or 5 weeks for a result before. I gave the MarinLab one 6 weeks before following up on it, but elements aren't going to leave your water. They're all going to be there, so it honestly doesn't bother me, and I'm not testing for something that I need to know that's in the water there that day so I can act on it. I'm looking for a trend of heavy metals or pollutants getting in my water that I don't want. But that being said, it is a vital thing that we need to compare. So the time it took for the results to come back, ATI were the slowest. I still think that's pretty quick at just over 2 weeks, but I'm going to take a point off because they're a fair bit slower than the others. It's 17 days. It took a little while, but like I said, personally, I think that's fine, but they lose a point for that. Triton, and in full disclosure, this was the quickest Triton test I've ever had. I'm not sure if they got wind of the video or not, but 12 days was exceptional. Normally I would give a point for that, but the Australian guys, Quantum, outdid them, taking just over a week to get the results back, which is an incredible service. So I couldn't help but give them a point for that. Triton probably hard done by there, not getting a point for 12 days, particularly since they had to go to Cairns and then it had to go over to Germany, or I think they still go to Germany. But Quantum at 8 days was a more than satisfactory turnaround time, so they gained a point for that. The next two rows, I've added them in because this tab was looking a little bit bare without it. The website and advice, it was difficult to mark because it's such a personal thing. If I wanted to be really difficult, I could take a point off for the ATI website. I thought it was a little bit clunky, a little bit possibly German without being racist. It was just a little bit to the point, a little bit to the fact, and I don't know, just wasn't quite as rounded. But I mean, at the end of the day, you just want to see your results, and it displayed the results fine. The Triton website, I've done over a dozen Triton tests now, so I know it like the back of my hand, so I feel comfortable with it. I didn't want to be biased, so I just got it fine. And the Quantum results that come in a PDF with some good written instructions on what they recommend were fine as well. That leads on to the advice. Again, some of these I question a little bit. The Quantum results on a couple of elements, it said I was 400% the desired value, and the recommendation was to do a 20% water change. I'm sure a 20% water change isn't going to hurt. In fact, it's going to help it, but I don't know how a 20% water change is going to fix something that's 400% the value. So might want to check into those a little bit. Maybe make your own opinion on the advice. Read it as that advice, not gospel. and go from there. But essentially for the website and advice columns, I haven't given or taken any marks off anyone. Again, make your own disclaimers. You can make your own conditions if you want to add points or remove points for that. That's totally on you guys. So for the miscellaneous tab, ended up with ATI losing a point because it took them 17 days, which is harsh, but such is life. Triton came out, ironically, being the benchmark with no added points or no removed points. They got a couple of warnings there, but let them off because it wasn't really any more expensive than the others, and it wasn't really any more expensive to post. And Quantum ended up 1 point up, took the lead on the first tab because they got the results back in 8 days, which is a huge bonus. They got one warning at 11.55, but you know, if you're going to take points off for $2 or something, it's really not worth it. So on round 1 of 3, Quantum are leading by 1 point. So let's move on to RODI. Now, if I scroll to the top here, quickly give away the results there for a second, but first thing I'll point out, Triton don't do your RO, so you can see here we got the dash here. They're not going to get any points here. ATI and Quantum both did the RODI, and to be honest, I don't know, it's a handy feature, but I don't want to be too heavily weighted towards it. You basically want to know if your RO is clean or not. So I'm a little bit of scroll across so we can see all of the elements here. Effectively, I've given a couple of points for the 2 that did do RODI testing because they did pick up a couple of things in my water and they were pretty well matched. You could see Quantum picked up a little bit of calcium, but 0.1 of a ppm isn't anything to write home about. They both did pick up decent levels of silicon and pretty comparable values, and they both did pick up pretty comparable values of zinc. For that reason alone, I've given them both an extra 2 points because it does tell me, and I know I've been getting a TDS creep in my RO lately, so I knew that I was expecting these results to find something, and they found a couple of things, so that's good. Both ATI and Quantum pick up 2 points each, which if you're good at keeping score, that does put Quantum at a few points up. But let's get on to the all-important saltwater tab because I don't know about you, but that's what ICP is all about for me. I'm not too fussed about the RO, and I don't really care about how the results look on their website or how much it costs. I just want to know what's in my saltwater. So I bring you to my highly fashioned saltwater tab. Again, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. Please don't hate on me for the points I've taken or given a warning for. This is purely my opinion. This is based on this one-off test that I've done. I know after the last time I had people tell me that if I have 2 results come back at 400 and 1 result come back at 200, how can I say that the result at 200 is wrong? It could well be the 2 that are 400 are wrong. Absolutely, 100%. Couldn't agree more. That's not how I've scored it here. If I've got 2 results that are near each other or one that's either higher or lower, I'm going to say that the one on its own is out. I know that's not scientific. I don't have a reference test to compare that against. So be it. So again, for all the haters out there, hate on me, that's fine. Let's move on. For everyone else that's here to see some results, let's get on with it. So we've got our ATI, Triton, and Quantum columns, and down here I've got the elements they've tested. If there's a dash here, that means that these brands didn't test them. If there's a 0 or a U, that means that they do test them, they just were undetected. All right, so let's start off salinity. These first 3 results here, ATI were the only ones that did. I've given them a point because I think that they're pretty useful values. If you're not interested in those 3, then take 3 points off ATI. That's fine. They're handy results, I think. I can't compare them against anything, so whether they're accurate or not, I don't know, but it's nice to get a reference on my elk. It did match up exactly with where I'd tested mine at that point in time, so I had 7.1, they got 7.16, that's fine, that's good. So ATI I've kicked off with 3 quick points on the board. Good luck to those guys. We'll move on to sodium. You can see here the results vary a little bit, but I'm going to say that that's all within a couple of percent. Who's more accurate? I don't know. That's fine. No points taken. Come down to magnesium. Got a little bit of variance here. You can see ATI is kind of in the middle. Quantum's a fair bit lower and Triton's a fair bit higher. Which one's more accurate? I don't know. The three of them are all across the board, so no points given or taken. Sulfur, we've got a similar sort of arrangement, but the brands have changed. We've got ATI in the middle. We've got Triton a bit lower and Quantum a bit higher. Again, all pretty close. No problems there. Calcium is something that we monitor very closely in the aquarium. I've given Quantum a warning here. I haven't taken any points, only because these two are so close at 363 and 363.3. And then Quantum was just a bit off at 340.7. I haven't taken points off that because, one, I'm happy that that's close enough, and two, that's totally within range, so that's not a problem. One thing I will quickly point out here, the Quantum results, which I can jump back onto their screen or their website, the Quantum results are in ppm, not UGL. So where I'm comparing them, you see here like the chlorine is not tested by ATI or Triton, so I have not converted it. On the other rows where we are comparing, I have converted it. So just bear that in mind. But so calcium, no points taken or added. But a little warning to Quantum there, though. They did test a little bit off the other two. Again, it would have been really handy to have the MarinLab results there to test thoroughly, but so be it. Potassium's another element that I run a little bit higher than everyone else. We've got a little variance across all three here. We've got Quantum at 425, ATI at 457, and Triton at 471. Who's right, I don't know, but they're all close enough, sort of. Bromine is another element that I do dose, so I am interested to see where that's at. We've got a little variance there, but nothing drastic. No points added or taken. Moving on to chlorine. Chlorine and sulfate, two values that ATI Triton don't test. I've given Quantum a bonus point for each of those. Feel free if you want to do that or not. I'm not sure how valuable those figures are for us in the reef tank, but I don't know enough on the elements to say they are or they aren't, so I'm going to give Quantum a point each for those. Strontium is another value I do add to the aquarium, so I'm keen to see where that's at. You'll see we've got ATI at 7.24, Triton at 7.28, and Quantum at 6.54. So just a little bit off these two. Again, it may be more accurate, it may not be. I've just put a little warning in that because it was a bit off the other two. Likewise with boron, we got ATI at 4.1, Quantum at 4.05, and the Triton was just a bit lower at 3.59. It is only a small variance. We're talking 0.5 of mg/L, but it was just this distinct difference off the other two. Only a warning though. Moving on to our next value, fluorine. This is actually something that's in the trace elements I dose, so I am really keen to see where it's at. And Triton and Quantum don't test it. ATI do, although I have heard rumours that that's a calculated value, not an actual tested value. Either way, I've given them a point because it's handy to know. Okay, lithium. It's good to see that all three of these are within range of each other, so we can move on from that. I should also point out at this point in time, we're not necessarily assessing my water. There's a couple of things in here I know that are good and a couple of things I know that are bad. We're not reviewing that so much. We're comparing the three samples of water. All right, silicon. We see a bit of a variance here. We've got 79, 121, and 200. So there's a fair variance there. We're talking sort of 2.5 times the lowest value there, which is a big range. But because all three varied, I can't take points off anyone for that because for all I know, this 120 value could be correct and these two could be wrong, or that one could be right and these two could be wrong. But that is the furthest away from the others, so just give a warning on that. Iodine is a pretty critical value because I do add this to the tank. And there's a pretty serious variance here too. AGI testing a bit lower. In fact, it's almost the same amount difference here from silicon and iodine. You see we're fairly low there. I've given these two a warning, and this one I've taken a point off. Make your own opinion whether that's necessary or not. But iodine's a pretty critical element, and that's coming up to 3 times the value of what this one is. That worries me a little bit. Okay, moving on to barium. This is another value that I do add via trace element dosing. And we can see that ATI and Triton were both fairly close to each other, while the Quantum result didn't find any at all. That I have taken a point off for that because I question if these two were able to find fairly precise amounts, they didn't find anything at all. Has me a little worried. So I'm going to assume these two values are somewhere closer to the mark. It would seem unlikely that they can find a value of that if it didn't exist. So make your own opinion. Molybdenum, I don't know how you pronounce that, but let's go with it. We've got 6.2 here, 9.1 here, and then 29 there. A huge variance, quite a few 100%. Because these two are so close, or sort of close-ish, and this one being so far out, I'm going to assume the Quantum result is the one off here. It may not be the case. That one might be right, and these two might be off, but I'm going to go with safety in numbers here. Nickel, we see all three are pretty close. Got that sort of nice spread of 0.5 between each. You got 1.52, 2.75. Manganese. Now, this is something that does get dosed with my trace elements, but I know it is something because I run UV and with my metal halides that it does get burnt up pretty quickly. I've got a very small reading from Quantum and a not detected reading from the other two. It does feel hard to accept that it's not detected because I know I dose it, but knowing that manganese does get burnt off, I've given that a warning. If you're playing at home and you think that should be a point taken off, feel free to do so. Onto arsenic, which is a strange element. Both ATI and Triton didn't detect it at all, where Quantum found 50 UGL, which is quite a high value, significantly over the set point. Let me have a look at what the set point for arsenic is. Let's have a look. The desired level is not detected, and I had 0.050 ppm, which is quite high, particularly when the other two tests found it not detected. So I'm going to question that. I mean, it could be contamination, but that's a bit left field. Beryllium was not detected in all three. Chrome was not detected in these two and a little bit detected in Quantum. I haven't taken points off for that because it's quite likely. I think it does get dosed with my trace element, so the chances are there is a small amount. Cobalt, not detected on any. Iron, not detected on any. Rubidiums, we went past copper, not detected in any. Rubidium is not tested by these first two and is tested by Quantum, so I've given them a point there. How valuable that element is, I don't know, but I'm going to give them a point because the others don't offer it. Selenium, not detected in any. Silver is not tested by ATI, but I don't know how important by Triton. I'm not sure how important it is. I've given them a warning. You can take a point off if you want, but I'm going with the warning. Not detected in the other two. This one was interesting. Vanadium is tested by all three, and I got not detected by Triton, a very small amount from ATI, and a huge amount from Quantum, which again is making me feel like that's possibly the one that's inaccurate. Let's have a look and see what... where is vanadium? Not there. Let's see what the set point for that is. The desired amount is almost non-existent, and my result was considered way over that. So it could be the case, but I'm not sold, considering that we want to see pretty much this value or lower. We've got that value lower, and then we've got significantly more than that found there. Again, make your own opinion. Zinc, we had not detected here, small amount there, and then another fairly large amount there. It looks like a large amount there. If I go to the Quantum results, though, if I find zinc here, because we're talking a ppm, we're talking they found 0.01, and we're looking for 0.002. This is when I convert it back to the UGL that it ends up being 10. I'm taking a point off of that because it's a fair variance. Make your own call. All right, moving on to tin, not detected in all three. Nitrate, which feels strange to bring that up so late in the game. ATI do a test for that, the other two do not. I've given that a point because it's a value we want to know quite a lot. Let's not worry about the value, but more the fact that they have a value. Phosphorus was pretty even across the board, so everyone's clear there. Phosphate was very consistent across the board, so that's all good. Aluminium, we had some huge variances here. Even these two had a bit of variance, but then Quantum was off the charts, which concerns me a bit. That's yeah, a lot of percentage difference. I know any ICP we can get contamination or some sort of left field results, but I wouldn't react too quickly based on that value I got there, considering the other two were drastically different. Same with antimony. I don't actually know what antimony is, but it was not detected in these two, and then nearly 100 parts detected there, or 197 UGL, I should say. What do we got here? Bismuth is not tested by Triton, but was tested and not detected by the other two. I'm not sure how important that is, so I haven't taken a point off. Lead, no one found. Cadmium, no one found. Lanthanum, no one found, which is good. Thallium, no one found, except Triton don't test for it. No one found any titanium in my tank. No one found any tungsten. Mercury, these two guys didn't find. Quantum don't test for it. Not taking points off for that, not needed. Scandium, no one found. These guys don't test for ATI don't test for it. Uranium and gold, ATI Triton don't test for. Quantum do, they didn't find either. Giving them a point for that. Make your own opinion whether that's necessary or not. Which brings us down to our saltwater score. Once I add up the green rows, take away the red rows, and ignore the black or orange rows, this is the score I got at 5, 0, and 3, or -3. It's just my scoring on this one-off test. Make your own opinion, that's fine. So, I'm not sure, we've been recording for a little while now, but if you can't remember the scores from the other two tabs, I'll bring you over to my totals table, where I've got ATI went back a point on Miscellaneous. If you remember, that was because it took quite a long time for the results to come back. They got 2 points for RODI, mainly because they do an RODI, and the results were consistent with the Quantum one. On the saltwater tab, they scored quite a few points. Some of those, make your own opinion whether it's actually necessary or not, if some of those values you didn't need. But it does put them on a total of 6. Triton, again, being the kind of the benchmark, I guess everything was compared against Triton. They were even on Miscellaneous, even on RODI, because they didn't do RODI. Couldn't gain any points there, and difficult to lose points. Saltwater, funnily enough, they came out at 0, so their total was 0. So they're a basic benchmark. Quantum got 1 point on the Miscellaneous because they were the quickest to return. They got 2 points on the RODI section, again, for being consistent with what ATI found. They did lose 3 points on the saltwater test. Make your own mind, but there were a couple of results there that were a bit left field, which put them back at a even pegging with Triton. So, based on my opinion, or my results from this one-off test, I have actually come up with the one that I'm going to openly admit was the one that I did not expect to come ahead of any others. Like I said, I've done over a dozen Triton tests, so I was kind of expecting those guys, and they've been around the longest. I was expecting Triton to come out streets ahead. Triton and Quantum I found to be fairly level pegging, but again, make your own opinion on what you're scoring points for and what you're taking points off for. ATI ended up being the one that I found the most results with, which, yeah, I mean, I could talk all day about it, but they lost points for being the slowest, but they weren't that slow. Less than, like 2 weeks and a few days is not a problem for me. They're mid-range in price. They do an RODI test that was consistent, and they did more saltwater elements than the others, and had less oddball results. So from this test, my opinion, I'm going to go with ATI. I'm going to wrap things up there. Feel free to comment below. Like I said, if you want to hate, that's fine. Maybe leave it off my channel, or you can private message me or do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's just an opinion. You guys draw your own, and yeah, I guess keep reefing, and as soon as I get the MarinLab results, I'll put them up here. But yeah, it'll be more a review of the MarinLab service rather than comparing results. But yeah, anyway, I'm not going to keep rambling, guys. I've got a poll up asking you, my viewers, what you would like to see in some of my upcoming videos. Feel free to vote on that. I am honestly watching that to see what video I make next. Other than that, if you're enjoying the channel, be sure to like the video, subscribe, comment. All of these things help my videos rank higher in YouTube searches, which is what makes the world go round in YouTube land. So if you could do that, I really appreciate it. And thanks, guys. Talk to you later.